Cronin Toyota and Cronin Nissan are honored to partner with Proudly We Served, as well as the continued support of our local active and retired military veterans across eastern Indiana.
I'm Al Bledsoe, Veterans of Foreign War, Post 1108.
And I'm Ron Chappell, Chaplain for Vietnam Veterans of America here in Richmond, Post 777, and co-host here with Al at Proudly We Served.
And our guest today is...
Whitney Mays. And Whitney is the director of the Hope House Drug Recovery Center here in Richmond, and located on the state hospital grounds, and it's been there. Well, I'll let Whitney tell you about all that. But Whitney, it's good to have you here this morning.
Glad to be here.
Before we get started, I got an announcement.
Okay, Al's got an announcement. Okay.
Ron Chappell just had a birthday.
Hey!
Oh, happy birthday, Ron.
And I want him to say publicly how old he is.
Oh, hey,
yes.
listen, I'm a proud brother, man. 7'4".
Wow.
7'4", and
well,
looking
Ron.
for more.
Yeah.
All right?
Oh, yeah.
7'4", looking for more. Okay.
Congratulations.
Hey.
Now that we had that interruption,
And did my,
Whitney can go ahead.
Did my body pump and all that good
Just
stuff.
tell us about
Okay, it ain't about me today. It ain't about me.
Ain't about
It
you.
ain't about me. Okay?
tell us about Hope House and what they do.
Hope House
If I can
is
keep him from
a
cutting
homeless shelter, and it's also a drug and alcohol recovery program. It's our homeless shelter is open 365 days a year, and our drug and alcohol program, those guys actually live there for 4 to 6 months. They get recovery, and they get a lot of classes and drug testing and a lot of counseling, but they actually live there for 4 to 6 months. We give them like a good protective place with a lot of teaching. It's Christian-based, so we do the Bible studies, and we also work the 12 steps, so it's a really good program. Any given time, you could go in that night and find 30, sometimes 35, 40 men in there, you know, just fellowshipping.
Amazing.
So that's what makes Hope House so great, is the fellowship.
Do you have any of the people in town, agencies in town that are dealing with that kind of stuff? Do they come in also, like Wayne County, Richmond? RPD?
RPD, we work hand in hand with RPD. They've been one of our collaborations for years. I mean, they bring people out. If I have a problem, I give them a call. We work with them. We work with Reed Hospital, with the courts, probation officers. A lot of them refer them out there to us. The Wayne County Trustee's Office, they refer people there. We just have and surrounding communities like sheriff departments and courts. Sometime they'll ask us to take their people in. State police, just everyone.
Just all over.
Now Hope, you've got a magnanimous job out there, Whitney, and I've seen you in operation. You do a good job, but listen, this is Mother Whitney out there.
Oh, I know.
Okay?
No,
all right, she don't
don't
take
make me
no
sound
stuff.
like I'm very gentle and loving.
But you're helped by a group of people, your board.
Wonderful board.
Yeah, you want to talk about them?
Our board members have made up of a diversity of people in the community, business owners, pastors, just good diversity, and all of them really care about addictions. Our program can only be as strong as our board. They have a great desire to help people, and I went to the board for several occasions that things we didn't normally do, but the hearts that they've had. We've taken men in the homeless shelter and kept them after heart surgery, and I've been able to set up funeral arrangements for homeless men who didn't have funerals, and I've sat with them out to the hospital, you know, during times when they was passing, because they always say, Whitney, don't make me die by myself, you know, and our board has been very supportive of that if we have special circumstances. So, and you know, we've had policies, but through the years, I've seen it's not just taking care of the homeless, it's much deeper than that now. We've had to do things that we wasn't even open to do, you know, but the times we're in now, people are more needed for more things. So we're very good at adapting to the things that are going on, and we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have a board that had a heart and had an understanding of the times that we're living in now. And I've learned so much.
I just happen to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, he is funny.
How does it, and I, you know, I've never been really, I mean, I help with the drug addicts and stuff like that, but how do people, I have a hard time getting how they get hooked on that stuff, or how, I just don't.
Well, you know,
I just
Al,
don't see it. It's just really.
Both physiological and psychological.
yes, it could be from generational. You wouldn't believe the people having a program. Well, my dad, and psychological. It could be a number of things. A number of men I've has been molested when they was young, and there was nobody there to protect them. So people start using drugs for various reasons.
Wow.
I've had judges' sons. I've had pilots. I've had a variety of people. It knows no boundaries. It just finds someone who's wounded and it hurts, and it becomes their best friend. I watched a special the other night. We've had 500,000 people die in this last decade from drugs and alcohol.
Oh.
It's the number one killer now, above car wrecks and cancer. 72,000 young people died last year in America. They said we've had more people die from drugs than Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq alone.
Somebody told me we had 40 episodes during the holidays, Thanksgiving to Christmas. 40 opioid.
And
That's just in Wayne County, yeah.
Yeah.
And a number
Yeah, I
of the
think I heard
calls
that
now
too.
all over
Yeah.
is overdoses in America.
Yeah.
It's not the police, the EMTs, it's all, our young people are dying at catastrophical numbers, and we have to understand this there's not a pill for hope. I mean, people just need hope, and there's not a pill for it. There's not a pill for life, you know.
And that's what sets us
life
apart.
skills. We teach life skills. We teach coping skills. And I tell the guys that you can't take a pill for life. You can't take a pill for hope.
Right.
You have to learn how to deal with those things. And first you have to be cleansed out, because you can get on all these other drugs and it might numb you, but the problem is still there. So that's what sets us apart. We go to the root of it. And now people really don't like that good old, they don't like the feel, so they don't really like to go to the core of it. So a lot of people on drugs and alcohol, there's some hurt and there's some issues that's much deeper. I always say drugs and alcohol is just a symptom. It's the byproduct of something much deeper.
Yeah.
So until America, or until our churches, or the gospel, the community come together and realize it's not the drug addict, but it's what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
And there's not a pill for life, and there's not a pill for hope, because there's always going to be something. Right. You've got to learn coping skills and to deal with that. And I believe that's more spiritually based than anything.
And I like
Well,
what
until
she
you have a change,
Yes.
change of heart, without getting into the weeds there too much with the faith part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's something that God and only God can change a person's mind, and only God can change his heart from a drug addict, or
We can't
if he's
reach
on,
there.
Yeah, if he's on prescription medication, or if he's on the hard stuff. Who knows? I mean. There's a lot of people on prescription medication that, if we really knew the truth of it, is probably a drug addict. They're addicted to something. But I've always been from the school, we're addicted to something.
Yeah.
people,
Like,
don't realize.
I'm addicted to work, probably.
We all have
Yeah.
issues.
But we all have
Yes,
addiction.
We all have
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
And I tell them that, when I first went out there working, I heard them in their meetings, and I'm like, I have the same problems you have. I mean,
Sure.
they're no different than us, but they just don't know how to feel. They don't know how to challenge. They don't know how to, how to figure it out. They don't have hope. I had hope. I knew how to get up out that bed and keep going. And I still have circumstances that make me want to lay down and give up, but I have hope in something other than this world, people, or jobs,
Sure.
And so they have the same things we deal with. And I tell them, they said, how are you not a drug addict? Because my hope ain't in this life.
Yeah, that's
right.
I can't put it in people or pills or anything.
Right,
I have to find that spirit within me that makes me fight, and that's through my spirituality, So, but like, we all have issues. That's just a part of life. We all have. I'm not perfect. I battle with making Whitney act right every day. I battle at that stop sign, and things fall apart, relationships crumble. That happens, but we have to teach them that it ain't over.
I thought I was, but Ramona got me.
Yeah, you got
She
Ramona.
got me straight.
Everybody
She
don't
got
have
me
Ramona.
straight. But you know, one of the good things about the Hope House, we're not dependent on the government. You know, they can shut down the government, but they can't shut down Hope House with legislation or pulling back governmental funds. We're totally dependent upon God providing what Hope House needs. And we have to testify that God has been good to the Hope House.
Yes, he has.
To the point where we've just purchased another building. We're moving from our current location and we're going to a new place. You want to talk about that?
Well, we purchased the building, and but right now we're getting ready to start a fundraiser so that we can do some renovations. We're going to need to add on a whole new part to the building. We are different, and we are good old-fashioned rehab because we don't believe in maintenance drugs. We don't believe in none of that, and we're not popular these days, but I still have guys come in and say, I tried all of that, it's not working. I want to do it the right way. I want to be free of these drugs. I want to be free of all this. And so right now, there was a time when our numbers was like 30s and back in the days when we had the crack epidemic, but now there's so many other options besides good old-fashioned rehab that our numbers aren't what they used to be, but we're still doing a great job because we still want to be that voice that say we're here. You know what I'm saying?
What really it gets me or whatever a little bit is a person that's on drugs and knowing that they could take something, whatever it is, this new thing that's out. How in the world would a person take that knowing that that could virtually be his demise? I mean, it'd be over.
They don't think, you know, it's not going to happen to me.
Oh, but some of them do
You know,
think they
that
do.
attitude.
I said, did you know
You
you
mean
was taking fentanyl?
the suicide?
Do you know you was taking fentanyl? He said, yeah, I knew I was probably going to die.
Is that right?
But that's the state of
Oh,
mind that they're in, though. That's what's scary. A lot of them take it knowing that they could die, and that's why I said this is not nothing natural. This has to be something, because they are committing suicide.
Yeah,
It's
but
not a party anymore.
But you think this most, I would say most would think, you know, okay, back in the day, and I ain't gonna give a testimony, back in the day, you know, you think, you know, oh, I can handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even the alcoholic, the guy that drinks, you know, he says, I can handle it, I ain't no alcoholic. But then he ends up being, you know. Yeah, so I don't know, I think that's for most, I think. But anyway,
I think when they start, they do think they can handle it.
yeah.
But this stuff they're getting hold of now is handling you.
Yeah.
And it might be fun in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But after a while, they say we don't even get high no more. We
Yeah.
just take it to stop being sick.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And for somebody to do
terrible.
that to yourself over and over, that tells me something up here is not right. Your thinking can't be right to know that if you put that or you take that, you could die. And they said, yeah. One guy told me that his friend died next to him and he took it out his arm and stuck it in his, knowing that you just watched him die, you know? So we cannot fight this natural spiritual battle with natural. Nothing's going to work until we find out who we really are and get to the source of that pain. So that's what we do.
Talking about getting to the source of the pain and our focus for this program, you know, we have veterans who come back from combat, and, you know, and have some, you'd be surprised at some of the problems that some of our brothers and sisters have to deal with. You know, being a Vietnam veteran myself, and then the most recent conflicts, you know, I certainly understand where they at and have ministered to many, you know, but Hope House, we're geared to be able to provide for veterans, are we not?
I have a veteran right now. He was in Afghanistan, and he'd been doing ICE since, you know, he got home and his wife was murdered. And he was from a different state, and he was here in our homeless shelter, and something about him just kept directing. And I said, what are you here for? Why are you in Indiana? And he told me, you know, he used to be in the service, and he got home with his wife after about a year. She was murdered. And he said he had never got psychological help from Afghanistan, and he said he started doing ICE, and his teeth was all messed up, and he's telling me about some of the war stories going in the houses. And so I talked to him about coming into the program, and he said, I've never done a drug and alcohol program. And he came into the program, and we've had him for about 2 months, and he is one of the most wonderful clients I could ever have. I mean, he just needed that support and the fellowship, because those guys leave the war and they come here and they haven't really dealt with anything, but he's only like 30, 36. He did 2 tours, I think, and but we get vets all the time, and sometime if I can't help them, there's a place in Winchester that they'll come right and pick them up. I mean, they're just
The journey home.
the journey
home,
exactly.
yeah.
I had one vet who his wife and son OD'd in the bedroom. He went in there, they both was dead. This is about 2 years ago, and he had came out to Hope House. He didn't do drugs at all. He was just an older man, and he didn't understand, but he came there. I kept him for about 3 days, but he was so messed up, and it broke my heart. I didn't know what to do for him. I called the Journey, and they came right up and got him and gave him a home. But those guys that's leaving them wars and the vets, we need to take care of them and love them. It's just so
See, I
sad.
don't understand why the VA, we spend all this money, we do all this stuff. The VA is very proactive when it comes to drugs. Somewhere we're missing it. Somewhere we're missing the mark when it comes to veterans and dealing with drugs, like Whitney just said. When they come home, they don't know where to go.
Well,
Somebody has to. Why isn't somebody, when they come home, reaching out and saying, "There's a better way"?
Well, I don't think they want. I
Yeah.
think a lot of them are embarrassed to come forward.
I asked him,
and
has he
admit that,
talked to him? Have you contacted the vets? And he said, no, I
VA?
haven't.
Yeah.
And a majority of them don't, and I don't know why that is.
And
Yes.
part of that is not thinking that VA would cover
Yeah.
a drug problem. you know.
Probably.
But the
So
good thing
are they
about
on-
Hope House, they don't need VA to go to Hope House.
No.
Right.
You know, you don't need. In fact, you don't need any money. Let me
No.
put it that way. You don't have to have a dime,
No.
and you can get into the Hope House for a recovery program. Our money comes from the people.
The people in the community,
support
no
Hope
state
House.
money,
Right.
no government money. It's
Right.
good old people in the community that believe in what we're doing.
That's
a lot
right.
of churches and individuals and groups, and they even provide our meals,
meals, I
because
was thinking.
we don't get our meals anymore. We couldn't, that became a financial burden. So even in the community now, every night we have a group or an individual in the community that are bringing meals, and we're still in need of filling up some days, because there's days we don't have anything, you know. I will go get something if I have to, but there's always like a funeral or a wedding or somebody. God just provides
Right.
all our needs.
Right.
But I know why we're still there, because we're doing a good work.
Do you happen to have a list of the holes that we have that need to be filled?
The weekends is usually a whole. Saturdays and Sundays we serve at 4 or 4:30. Saturdays and Sundays, and some Fridays.
Okay.
And 2 Mondays, but all they would have to do is call out to Hope House. But
Talk to you.
talk to me or whoever answers the phone. But we're always in need of things: cleaning supplies, finances, of course,
Right.
but meals and stuff like that. But we don't charge for anything. So
Now, Hope House is strictly a male facility.
male facility
Okay.
for men 18 and up.
Right. It started that way because at the time that's where the emphasis was. It's supposed to have been 16 years.
Oh no, I think
15?
almost 18,
Is
18
18?
19 years.
I remember
19
at
years.
the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at
18,
any rate,
19 years.
So veterans that come home, I'm interested in that, because when veterans come home, are they addicted to prescription
Yes.
stuff?
oh no, not just prescription. You know,
Ice.
I remember sleeping
Ice,
when
tell
I
me
was
what
in
ice
Nam.
is.
I remember sleeping in beds of marijuana and opiates. You know, in the areas there. So you know. Okay,
Do you know he told me
testimony
that?
again. For $1, you could get a local villager to go out and harvest a laundry bag full
Yeah.
of stuff.
Do you know he told me that, and I said, how could you? He was addicted to ice when he came home. I said, how could you do that there? He said, Whitney, that's where the opiates and the marijuana. He said, and when you raid houses, if you got addiction, we take all the dope. And he said, that we have to get something to cope with getting shot at every day. We have to have something to cope with about dying. We don't even know if we're going to live the next
many
day,
do.
and we have to. He said a lot of us don't, but there's of us. He said he did night watches. He said every night I had to get on something, and I was so shocked to learn that he came home like that.
Yeah.
And that just broke my heart.
Yeah.
That's a part that we don't talk about very much.
Right.
And that's why they're falling through the cracks, because we're not talking about what they're really going through over there.
Right. And they need to know, brothers and sisters,
Yes.
of the uniformed services, you need to know you can come to Hope House.
Yes.
And nobody's going to spill the beans on you. All right? You come to Hope House, and it's strictly at Hope House. So you can feel safe and secure that your privacy is going to be kept, and nobody's going to put you on Facebook.
No.
Send a tweet.
Confidentiality.
And all that good stuff. It's strictly confidential, yeah. So you feel free to come to the Hope House. Where are we located?
We're located on State Hospital grounds, 275 Grove Road for now, but we will be having a new location shortly. We'll be coming more to the inner city.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we're there right now. I think it's building 414. Our phone number is 765-935-3000. If you know of someone that needs help, or if you want to help, you can give us a call.
Yeah, yeah. And we're constantly in need. And also, if you want to do like a Bible study,
If you want to do a Bible study, or
yeah.
you're a therapist or counselor,
Oh,
or
yeah.
we even have arts and craft day. If you have any type of creative skills that you think might benefit some of the guys, they really enjoy art class, and it opens up their creativity. We have a meditation class now, and that's really good. I enjoy that. But whatever you can bring that you think might help us. We're not an island, so we do need help. We need each other. We don't have all the answers, but I think what makes us genuine is that the community comes together and helps us. We do it together. So whatever you can do, we'd appreciate.
Yeah.
So are they actually detoxing at your place, if that's the right word?
That is one thing we do not do.
Okay.
We do not detox. There's a facility.
So what is detox?
Detox is when someone's on drugs and to get off, it's hard for them to stop. And some people just can't stop. A majority of them can't. Some of them, if they stop, it'll raise their high blood pressure or something like that. There's certain medications that you have to be monitored on to stop. And so that's where detox comes in. And a lot of people call, do you have a detox facility? Especially when you're on heroin and stuff like that. It's very uncomfortable, very painful. I can't even tell you how bad it is.
Wow.
It's like
So is it
flu-like
72 hours for
Yeah,
detox?
I'd say 72 to 5 days, but
Yeah.
some people need more than that with these new drugs. So that's a facility that cares for all that until you're able to make it to a rehab. It's very, very, that's much needed in someone that's been on them type of drugs.
So when they get to us, they've had that many
They've been
days without
detoxed,
the
yes.
drugs, and then they can come on in. Yeah.
Well, I know from a personal experience, if you're on some of that stuff, which years ago I was, and when I quit cold turkey, I just wanted to know what to do, and so I started reading all the side effects and everything like that, and I'll never forget. I mean, when the last one I took, I'm going to say, and but it was a mess for about 10 days. I mean, it was. I had some. I mean, thoughts that I never, I never even thought that
It's
I would.
awful.
And
You
my
think you
wife
could
told me
think
that
that.
I was going crazy.
The withdrawal
About that
symptoms
time,
are
my
awful.
brothers are ministers, so they would call and we'd sit and talk for an hour on the phone. And the thing that really helped me a lot was our pastor. Marty and I used to sit and talk about that, and of course, God was, on the other hand, kicking it.
Yeah.
That you got to
Sure.
get off it. And the doctor said that it was really unbelievable that I just, excuse me, quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
Because usually most people can't do that. And he was bent out of shape because I told him I was just going to quit. And he said,
Yeah.
you just can't
It's dangerous,
quit.
but some
Well, that's what happened to
people
me. I quit cold turkey.
Some people
Yeah.
can.
But you know, I think the difference
I think
is
I'm better for it.
when you believe, you have faith.
Makes
in
a
God,
difference, man.
It makes a big difference.
Well, you got to have
know.
faith. I mean, if you don't have faith, you don't.
Yeah, when you're ready and you're really willing
right.
to accept Him and accept what He wants to do in your life, He will help you to get clean and deal with that thing.
And alcohol, you some type of
Sure,
detox off of
absolutely.
alcohol. And,
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, well, you know, this has been great, Whitney. I am so glad that you were able to come.
Thanks for
because
having
there's so
me.
many
Yeah.
people out there that don't know anything about the Hope House. And certainly the veterans community had, most had no idea that there was a facility available that they could go to
Sure.
with complete confidentiality and, you know, have a chance to get clean, to get free. So, again, State Hospital grounds. And
Let's go through all of that,
Yeah.
address and
Yeah.
phone numbers. And
yeah, again.
Okay,
Yeah.
Hope House is at 275 Grove Road, State Hospital Grounds, Building 414. Our phone number is 765-935-3000. Our email is richmondhopehouse.com.
All right, all right. And just call and ask for Whitney or talk to
Yes.
whoever's on the phone there, and we'll be able to respond to you right away. All right.
Yep.
All right, well,
we're ready to get out of
ready
here.
to get out of here. Okay. Well, thanks, folks. Thanks for watching Proudly We Serve. And again, Whitney, we want to thank you for
Thanks
coming
for
on
having me.
board and telling us about the services offered at the Hope House. Hey, folks, we got to go. We'll see you next time.
See
Bye-bye.
you.
Cronin Toyota and Cronin Nissan are honored to partner with Proudly We Served, as well as the continued support of our local active and retired military veterans across eastern Indiana.